September may be a month with no new products in the TCG, but that hasn't stopped people from buying out cards all over the place. With new cards in Battle of Chaos like Ghosttrick, Vampire, and now Nordic support, as well as an OCG ban list and lots of speculation on our side of things as far as the TCG ban list and the Megatins, people are going crazy with prices, and we're going to take a look at the market and see exactly what's been impacted by this in today's Ion Market. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And as we go ahead and take a look today at the way the market is set up, it looks like we have a lot of things. I have a bunch of tabs open you probably can't see. We do have a lot of things moving though, with Ready Fusion, Bee Trooper Scout Buggy being at the top of the pack here. Still pretty low quantities on both. I think we're starting to see the Bee Trooper insect decks really start to gain a bit of traction among the player base. I think they will still need a few more support pieces before they could be considered meta, but there's a lot of good foundation there. Generally speaking, we're seeing fallouts on certain things like Zeus, which is confirmed for the Megatins. There's been some leaks for the Megatins, but we don't know whether or not they're true, so I'm not even going to address them all that much beyond that. If those leaks were true, Droplet would be out of the tins, and as a result, would have to rely on its other reprint in Brothers of Legend. I really do hope they put a double reprint out for it. I think that would be really good, and it, is better for the player base as a whole if Droplets is a bit more accessible. But you're seeing things really start to fall as we get closer to the tins coming out now. Nadir Servant down to about $50. Chamber Dragon Maid still decently high, but we do know for sure that's going to be in maximum gold. Whether or not it makes the Megatins is anyone's guess. And that's sort of the same conversation we've been having for a while with Megatins. You really just are starting to see some of these cards kind of not bottom out, but hit a low. And if they are, once they're confirmed, I think they'll drop a bit more, and then you'll really be able to scoop them up. So that's where the market's main movement has been in terms of your meta cards, in terms of people playing the ban list speculation game and all that. But really what I'm interested in talking about today is the cards that have started to see hype that people have been going after, with Battle of Chaos introducing some new archetypes. Last week we talked about the Ghosttrick and Vampire cards. There is also Nordic cards that were revealed over the weekend. Very random support, but I'm not upset about it. Nordics are a cool archetype that I've always felt like were neat in terms of design, but just didn't have enough good cards. And I don't know whether or not the new cards they got are going to be enough either, but it's not stopping people from going crazy with speculation. So let's jump into that and let's take a look at what we got here. Vampire Vamp is actually a couple of times it's going to appear on this list here. The super rare from Primal Origin, I only pointed out because it is the original rarity. I don't know how good this card actually would be. I think people like it because of the art and because of what it represents, but I just don't think it's all that great, especially being a level 7. I mean, you can special summon it. There are ways that you can kind of cheese it out, and it does have a neat ability to equip an opponent's monster to it in a way to, out things without having to rely on destruction, but that's sort of, here nor there. The reason I worry about this one specifically, though, is because it does have a lost art, and that lost art one is much higher in price. It's basically just less restrictive in terms of what they covered up, but you're seeing them sell now. Italians are a little bit cheaper, but they're about $15. So I would say if you're going to get the highest rarity, or you anticipate playing this, the Lost Art one at 15 is definitely something to keep your eye on. But I also think that the super rare Primal Origin is probably going to be a decent pickup again, just because of how cheap it is. Vampire Sucker, on the other hand, any opportunity to pick this up cheap, the window seems to have already closed for that. But the thing is, this is a really good card that's been played in other decks before, so this is not shocking. It's just insanely good. It's the best link that zombies have access to, which is a relatively small category. You see it's around $10 for the Ultra, and I believe the Secret Rare also is about $14, $15, if not more. I think you're really going to see people going after the Secret Rare because of the not that much of a differential in price, but it looks like it's around $20 for the cheapest Near Mint First Ed. Let me just double check this page. Yeah, so $20 is what you're going to be paying on this if it's something you anticipate wanting to grab. I would recommend getting the Secret Rare if with how minimal the difference in price is between the two, just because I think the Secret Rare overall is going to age better and also looks nicer. But if you are on a bit of a budget and you're still looking to play vampires and pick that stuff up, you have the Ultra as an option for you. Ghost from the Past had Vampire Voivode. I do like this card a little bit in terms of being able to rely on monsters from your opponent's graveyard, but I don't know how good it's going to be. I just do see people kind of chasing after it. It's still very largely listed in quantities, but if you don't have them, or you maybe passed on Ghost from the Past, no pun intended, you could probably pick up a play set of these cheap. I don't know where this is going to fall. The fact that it needs to be normal summoned is really what makes it super problematic, and I don't think it's going to be all that great. so I would avoid it unless you can get it cheap. Vampire Domination, counter trap that negates spell trap or monster effects if you control a vampire. I do think this is a good card, and it is very low in quantities. It's Dark Saviors, so it's a bit old now, and it was, you know, pretty widely open set back in the day, but the card is moving around $4 to $5 a copy for first eds. I do think this is better than the common, obviously, but if you don't particularly care, just, you know, be advised there is also a common from the Mega Pack 2019 that is a lot cheaper, though both are low in quantities. Vampire Retainer, really good. This and the other one are going to be solid. These are a little over $1.50. Just get the super rares if you're picking them up because they're going to be better long term than the commons anyway. Fraulein is a card that I do like a lot. It is a bit weird in that it's reliant from the battle phase. However, I do like it, and I think it might actually be something the Vampire deck will play. They're around $5 for secrets, but these have never been like a penny, like not penny stock in a sense. They've always been like a couple bucks, but it does have that going for it. And of course, the Ultra Rare from Mega Pack is about $1.50. A lot cheaper. Just a cool card. People like the art. It's definitely neat, and I think it's a good one that you might want to have. Vampire Kingdom is a super rare from the Judgment of the Light Deluxe Edition, arguably one of the worst products of all time. The Near Mint Limiteds are selling for around, well, confirmed listing here at $10. I don't know how many are left, but finding these is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Cheapest Near Mint is about $9, gets to 10 pretty quick. Will they play this? I'm not entirely sure. I do think it's a neat card, and the fact that it's, you know, gives your zombie monsters attack points is fine, but what really makes it strong is the fact that you can pop your opponent's cards and then mill your own. I really do like this card, and I think that it's worth getting. But it does have two common prints, Mega Pack and Shadow Specters. But again, like a lot of the other vampire cards, nothing is abundant in quantities here. It's just an older card. Vampire Familiar, like I said, same thing with Retainer. If you're going to pick this up, just grab the supers. It's going to be a much better value for you, and I do think it'll obviously be played in the deck with Ghost Ogre. Takeover is an interesting one. If you have no card in your field zone and you control a zombie monster, you can activate Vampire Kingdom directly from your deck, then special summon a dark vampire monster from your graveyard. I do kind of like this. It's like a metaverse, but like way better, but also a little bit more restrictive in terms of what you need to control. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. I think it's a super from Shadow Specters, but it also has a second print in the 2014 Mega Pack. Again, I'm just going to sound like a broken record here. Both of those are low in quantity, so be aware of it. Vampire Duke. This is a rare from Shadow Specters. It also has a print in the Mega Pack. Relatively low quantities on both. This actually activates when it's normal. You can revive a dark vampire from the graveyard and then make your opponent mill something if it's specialed. So it does synergize with Vampire Kingdom. It's a level 5, so there's a lot of cool stuff about this one. And then Vampire Sheridan, this is a really, really good card. Like, this is an Xyz, and it's really, really powerful. I don't know, you know, that the secret is going to see any kind of crazy bump in value, but it's low in listings, and it's pretty cheap. So I would recommend grabbing this over the common, simply because there's not much of a price differential here. People have chased all that stuff down. We'll see how it does. Now, Ghosttricks, on the other hand, this is the truly spooky thing. I did talk about this, about the fact that a lot of this was going to end up going up a ton, and interestingly enough, I have been proven right for the most part. It looks like Mary is around $35 at the cheapest for Legacy of the Valiant. Mary is a really good card and definitely one you will play in the deck. Its Mega Pack version has 2 listings, and it looks like it's $26 at the cheapest. You're going to be paying a little bit on this for a while, so I would maybe just wait. I assume it will settle, but that could change, of course, if people actually find ways to break the deck and it ends up doing something insane. So, again, just food for thought on Mary. I don't necessarily want to advocate paying $35, but I mean, I don't really see it going down because I just don't think the quantity is going to be there to diminish it unless people want to make sales. We've got the Mega Pack one I already showed here. Lantern is cool. It's like $15. It's just, I don't think it's a good card. It basically, if your opponent attacks directly or a Ghosttrick you control's attack, you negate the attack and special this from hand. It's very slow and doesn't really do too much that's conducive to the deck anymore. It's just a cool card. Like, it's iconic and I really like it, but it's not going to be meta relevant, I don't think. So I would kind of avoid it if you can. Alucard Ultimate Rare is pretty pricey at $40. That doesn't shock me, though. Near Mint First Eds are, you know, there. Light Play Unlimited. There's not even any Near Mint Unlims available, so Alucard just kind of cleaned off the market. He does have other printings, though. He's got a Ultra Rare and a Super Rare as well. Ghosttrick Angel of Mischief. This is probably the best Ghosttrick card currently, just being a really good Xyz. It's from World Superstars. About $8, give or take, on the cheapest near mints, but people are lining up to make some sales. Just be aware that it is very low in quantities, and there are no alternative prints. So if you want this, you're going to end up having to pay for it. But definitely recommend having it. Ghosttrick Doll is one I really like from Primal Origin. When it's flipped during the end phase of the turn, its effect is activated. All face-up monsters on the field are flipped face down, and then you summon a Ghosttrick equal to the number you flip face down. So as long as you flip one, you have a target, but you can really utilize this in some ways to disrupt the opponent as well. I do like this card, and I think it's one of the better ones they have access to. It's like $1.50, so it's not too bad, but it doesn't have a second print. It was not in a Mega Pack. Ghosttrick Dullahan, again, we talked about this last week too. This is just a really good card. It's a Link 1. It searches when it's sent to grave at all. About $3 a piece, give or take right now. I do think that could go up a little bit more, so I would say maybe grab it sooner rather than later, just to be sure. Ghosttrick Scare is a pretty good trap. You flip your face down monsters up, and then flip your opponent's face down, equal to the number of Ghosttricks you flip face up. So this can be disruptive in a way that like Book of Moon is. It's definitely something I would keep an eye on. It should be something you can find in bulk. Absolutely something you want to take a look at here if you are interested in that, because I do think right now it's cheap for what it actually does for the deck. Ghosttrick Specter, channel mascot, love this card. He's still going to be played, I think. He's really good, and the fact that he replaces himself is solid, but he's so abundant in quantities, I don't think you're going to have to worry about him. I do hope we get a super rare print of him, though, at some point. That would make me happy. And obviously would be cool, maybe like an OTS or something. Ghosttrick Renovation is a card from Extreme Force I completely forgot existed. You target a Ghosttrick field spell in your zone, return it to the hand, and then activate any field spell from your hand or deck. So you can use this with like Mystic Mine, which I was playing in Ghostricks at one point because it does help to stall. And it does also allow you to rank up and transfer from one Ghostrick to a different rank Xyz. So there's some stuff to look at with this. It's cheap, so you really shouldn't have to worry about it too much. But it was not reprinted in the Megatins when Extreme Force was reprinted in 2018, I think. So just food for thought there. And lastly, for the Market Watch today, as it's already gone a lot longer than I expected, but that's, just sort of par for the course. The Nordic stuff is neat, and we'll talk about it a little bit later this week in a video. The Venatus has always been like at least $10. It looks like 35 cheapest for the first eds, and maybe 20 and change now for the Unlims. Very low quantities. She is good, though. It allows you to mill a Nordic and then change its own level, so it's got some neat stuff. Plus, it can substitute itself for a Synchro. It's a level 4 Dark Fairy. It's pretty good. Goldfax is a bit reliant on the opponent, but it's still a beast tuner, and it might be one you play. I really don't know. I don't necessarily think it's going to be great, but if you are going to grab one for whatever reason, Legendary Collection 5Ds one is the way to go. That sets a gold mine, and this is still pretty cheap. Valkyrie of the Nordic Ascendant, it feels like you have to waste way too many resources to utilize this, but it is a cool card. Again, Legendary Collection 5Ds means it's going to be lower in quantities than anything. $5 a piece. I would not buy this personally unless you can get it at less than like $2. I just don't think it's good. I think it eats way too much of your resources and is completely reliant on your opponent to control a monster while you also have no other cards. It wasn't good back then. It's not going to be good now. The Link monster, Gulveg of the Nordic Ascendant. This seems really good, and there's a couple of combos with it that people are talking about. It might make it really easy to put out an Aesir. This is Ultra in the Legendary Hero deck, so it was locked behind that paywall. It might be worth grabbing one of these if you have interest in Nordics, just because I do think this will be kind of a mandatory Link 1 to play. Not going to try to pronounce this guy's name, however, he's actually one of the good ones. $6 for the secret rare. He does have a rare print as well, so it's not a huge deal. You should be able to get him cheap if you want him, but the secret rares are low enough that if the card's actually going to do anything, that's a good value to have, especially out of Legendary Collection 5Ds. Venatus also does have an Ultron Legendary Collection 5Ds that is cheaper and could see a rise over time with low listings, but it's not, it's like $3, so I would say if you want a foil version, go for that. If you don't care, then get the common, because the common's going to be a quarter anyway, and is not going to go up that much. Nordic Relic Gungnir, I don't even know if I like this one, but out of all the Nordic Relics, this is probably going to be the best one. You banish an Aesir or a Nordic, then destroy a card on the field, and you return your monster to the field. It's during the next end phase. It's okay. I don't think it's great. It is searchable, though, so if something's going to go up, I guess this could be one. And lastly today, Elvis of the Nordic Alfar. This is from Soul Fusion. It also has reprint in the Gold Sark Mega Pack. This card is nuts, and if you haven't read it, you probably should. It's just a really, really good card in general that synergizes with the Link 1 and actually makes it so that you can kind of accelerate your plays without having to give up too many resources. I would not necessarily think this is going to go up or anything, but I would definitely say just have it. Like, if you're interested in Nordics, have this, because it is a really, really good card, and it does look like a card that is going to be basically the first thing you put in when you start building the deck, given the fact that if it's banished by the effect of a Nordic Link monster, you can mill a Nordic monster from your deck, 2 Nordic monsters from your deck, and then 1 Nordic monster you control. Special summon an Aesir monster from your extra deck, and then if an Aesir you control is sent to the graveyard at all by an opponent's card, you banish this card and you special summon a different Aesir monster. So it's really, really good, and I'm excited for the Nordic stuff. I just don't know if it's actually going to be good enough to get the job done. But that'll be a discussion for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time right here at Loveshack.